Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. Come on in and get comfortable. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Jaleesa, Reading Beyond the Book Cover, where we stay reading beyond the book's cover. My name is Jaleesa. Welcome if it's your first time, and welcome back if you are returning. I know it's been a while for those of you who are returning since I have recorded a video. I think it's been around 2 months. You may have seen me in other people's sprints, and even sprints I've been hosting on my channel, but it's been a minute since I've sat down and actually recorded something. I've been working on book reviews. I'm just catching you all up real quick. I've been working on some book reviews. Hopefully they'll be coming out pretty soon on my podcast, my blog, as well as here, because I enjoy talking books. It's just that I'm having to get my mind in the right headspace to actively talk about books in the way that I want to. And I thought instead of me jumping back into making videos immediately with reviews, I wanted to do a book tag instead. I know I'm a little bit behind on book tags. It's unfortunate that YouTube, the app, it doesn't show me my mentions from older. I don't know how much older, but I'm going to try to find the ones that I know for sure I was tagged in, videos and whatnot. Hopefully I can somehow get those, and I'll be able to pump out the videos in response to each of those. So this one here is the most recent one that I remember being tagged in, that I didn't see here, but I do remember being tagged. I was tagged by Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction. Go and check that channel out. I'll make sure that I put her channel information down below, as well as her video and the original video for this book tag. And the book tag that I am talking about is the How Do We Rate Our Book tag, or How Do We Rate Our Books book tag. And there's 9 questions, and I do have a list of people that I am going to tag. And the reason why I'm looking at my screen back and forth, you may see my eye movement, is because I do have the questions in front of me, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you haven't noticed, I am using StreamYard to record, because I do want to try, 1, something different, and 2, I want to see how my video comes out if I am to put up the question as a banner and then just respond that way. So you'll see what I mean when I'm doing it. But without further ado, let's go on ahead and jump into it. Alrighty. Number 1, the first question is, how often do you DNF, and what makes you DNF? So that's a good question. I don't often DNF. I call myself a silent DNFer, or not right now kind of reader. If I soft DNF, that just means that I had the book, I got a little bit into it, and something didn't work at that moment, but it doesn't mean I want to give up on it completely. So I just leave it on my unread. It's not unread. I'm sorry. I leave it on my currently reading, and if I don't leave it on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads or Storygraph, I will usually put it on a different shelf that I have affectionately named Eagle. I think it's called Eagle. Nope, that is not what it's called. So just to let you all know, it is actually called DNF Might Revisit. It used to be called Eagle or Drop Down and Get Your Eagle, something like that. Something cute. I'm pretty sure at one point in time, but let me just let you all know the history of it. All right, back to Jaleesa. Eagle, yes. And it's named that because if you all are familiar with Nelly, he's a rapper here in the US, and he had this one song. Sorry. I think it was either called Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On, Girl, or that was like one of the lines in the song. But that's my way of saying, like, we're going to get back to it later. Like, I'm dropping it down, get your eagle on. So I'm going to drop the book, push it on, and I'll get back to it later. So yes, I'm a soft DNFer. I don't DNF often. It's very rare. But like I said, I'm a revisitor, circle backer. I'll get back to it later, not right now kind of person. I don't want to completely I don't want to completely just like let the book down or put it down. I've done it only maybe with like 2 books that I can really recall. I actually took it back. One for sure. I tried it for 7 years. Yes, you heard that correctly. I tried to read a book for 7 years, and I finally said, it's not for me. So that one is a solid DNF. You see, I give things chances. So I think that's more than fair. Right. So question number 2 is, do you rate books a 1 star? So just like with the DNF, I have rated books 1 stars before, but it's very rare that I do that as well. But that doesn't mean that I won't do it. I think this year the closest to a 1 that I've given is maybe a 1.25. And I'm trying to remember which book that was. It either was The Haunting of Hill House. No, not Haunted Hill House. The Haunting on the Hill. The House on Haunted Hill. It's whatever that book is by Elizabeth Hand. That one, absolutely not. That book, and then what was the other one? Does It Hurt by C.D. something or S.D. Hinton, S.D. Horton. I didn't like that either. But that wasn't just me thing. I don't think the book was bad or anything like that. Both of them, in most cases, it's always because I just didn't vibe with the book. So yes, I have given a 1 and I will give a 1. It just doesn't happen that often. Does not happen often, sorry. The next question, number 3, is, what is a 2-star book to you? So a 2-star book to me is a book that I finished, but it's one of those books that I had complained about during the entirety of my reading experience, and I had more negative things to say about it than positive. Sometimes 2-star books can even be books that's just not my vibe, but there was something that was redeeming about it, and that's why I gave it a 2. But it's definitely not one of those books that I would actively be pushing for other people to read, unless they say they like a certain thing in a book, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what you should read. So for example, I'm not a big romance reader, but I can tell when some books have characters that thrive off of having words of affirmation during the do. So if you're a person that likes that inside of your books, then I will tell you, hey, you should pick this book up. They have a lot of words of affirmation going on in the scenes. It wasn't for me because I'm not a romance person. I don't really need it in my book, but it's for somebody. So yeah, I can do that. That's what a 2-star will usually be for me. Number 4, is a 3-star book. I'm waiting for the question to come up. Sorry. Is a 3-star book a good book for you? Yes, a 3-star book is a good book for me. And it's weird the way that I do it. 3 stars is like one of those books that I have a hard time actually talking about because I waver when it's a 3-star. So 3-star is usually me saying I finished it. You're going to always hear that. I'm going to tell you whether or not I finished it and whether or not it was enjoyable for a certain amount of time. So usually with a 3%, with a 3-star book, I will let you all know if I'm reviewing it or when I review it, if there was a certain percentage that I did or did not enjoy, or if there were certain aspects that I did or did not enjoy. But overall, I will enjoy more than I didn't enjoy. So that's where it's a little bit different from the 2-star when I rate it. It's also a book that I do not think I want to reread. And it's also one of those books where I would recommend it, but it won't be as gung-ho as it would be for a 4 or a 5. But yeah, a 3-star book is good for me. I feel like if you were to look at all the books that I have read, anything that's like a 2.5 and below is not that good of a, see, I don't like saying good or bad. I don't like working in definitives like that. Let me rephrase myself. If anything is a 2.5 and below, most likely it's because I didn't vibe with it. I would have to flat out say it's not a good book and then put it as a 1 and then make sure I explicitly say that. That's the only time I'll say a book is not good. But I feel like every book has a good element to it in some kind of way. But when it comes to a 3, like I said before, it's a little bit tricky, but it's a good book for me. Like, it's decent. Let's not call it good. It's decent. I finished it. It was all right for what it was, but am I going to remember it? Most likely not. Most likely not. Number 5, what does 4 stars mean to you? So 4 stars is something that is a book that will stick with me, and I may reread it, and it's something that I recommend to someone, but it's not something that I will buy. Like, that's what I say for the 5 stars. The 5 stars is one of those books that I know I'm going to revisit and most likely revisit soon. And I'll explain that later. But yeah, 4 stars means that I finished it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I did not enjoy it. And I will most likely read another book from that author. That's where the 3 and the 4 is almost the same, but the 4-star to me means it's a good book. I maybe found something in it that I didn't really enjoy that much in its entirety, and that's the reason why I got a 4. But usually it's like for little minor things that I'll bump something down to a 4. So it can be pacing. As long as the payoff is good, I'll give it a 4. So it's like if the pacing would where I needed it to be, yeah, it'll be a 5. But no, and it's a 4, that means that something was off. If I enjoyed the characters but didn't like the plot, it most likely will be a 4, or vice versa. So the 4 is where there are elements and they were checked off, what I like in books, but then there's always something that was either lacking or not to my liking, and that is what it is. So yeah, 4, that's good. It's 2 thumbs up for me. Question number 6. Do you ever do half-star ratings? Yes, I am notorious for doing half-star ratings. I even do quarter ratings. I'm good for a 0.25, a 0.5, and a 0.75. I will do it all. I have nothing against doing that. I know some people like even numbers, but yeah, no, I give half stars. I do it very often. Excuse me. If you follow me on Goodreads or you follow me on Storygraph, you will see that I rate half stars. On Goodreads, because you can't do that, I have shelves. So if you go there and you follow me or you're friends with me on there, you will see that I have shelves that are dedicated to half stars, because I'm not able to do that with the star system or the rating system on Goodreads. But yeah, that's my thing. Like, that's where I live. I live in the partial stars or the half stars. Question number 7. Do you rate books 5 stars often? What do 5-star books do to make them rate that high? So I do rate 5 stars, but not that often. I feel like most of the time, most of my 5 stars, if you look on my shelves for Goodreads or Storygraph, they're usually graphic novels, children books, and then every now and then there'll be a memoir that I felt very impacted by. There's very few stories that I feel are a 5-star for me. What makes a 5-star for me is a book that I immediately want to reread. And I've only had a couple of times, a couple of books where that's happened. So two that I can name from the top of my head actually are The House in the Cerulean Sea. Immediately after finishing the ebook, I picked up the audiobook, and I did the same thing with Rebear. So that's how I know those are 5-star books. If not that, then a 5-star book is usually a book that will make me cry. Anything that makes me have so much emotion like that, I have to give it a high rating. That's the way that I know that the writing is impactful. The storytelling is... what is the word I'm looking for? The storytelling is, it's it, the capital IT, at least for me. It may not be for everybody, but storytelling, the characters, being invested. And that's one thing that I also measure in my books. Like, if you have characters that are written in a way where I get attached to them, and I actually care when something happens to them, you're doing the good Lord's work, okay? You are doing what I wanted you to do, and you're going to most likely get a 5. I think one good example of that, of a book that it has character development, and it makes you care about the characters, and it makes you tug, at your heartstrings. You want to cry. Well, at least I wanted to cry. Was what is it called? The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Is it Sorcerer's Apprentice? Wait, let me stop lying. It's the Robin Hood book. Look at me being a fake fan. Hold up. Robin Hood. That one there, you spend a lot of time with the character, but it's worth it. It is so worth it, because you start to really care about what happens. Okay, yeah, I was right. I don't know. I said Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's Assassin's Apprentice. Give it 5 stars. It's the first book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hood. Yes. Another book that made me feel that way, and actually kind of hurt my feelings, was The Daughters of Jubilee. Let me find the book so y'all can see it. A Jubilee. It's The Daughters of Jubilee. This is how you know I'm tired. Oh man. Why can't I? When I remember it, I will put it in my blog post. But I do remember that book being something that, let me find it, because I don't want to be lying on the internet. Hold up. Give me a moment. Talks amongst yourselves. I need to find my 5-star shelf. The Daughter of Jubilation? I know when I see the cover, I'm always like, yeah, that's my favorite book. One of my favorite books. And everybody is, excited. But I can't find it now. Oh, Poet X is another book that I wanted to read more than once. I think I read that 2 or 3 times in the same year, if I remember correctly. Where is... I'm looking. Oh, another book that I really like. I know a lot of people that have followed me for a minute. You know that I enjoy Gillian Flynn's The Grown Up. That's one of the books that I always suggest to people who haven't read anything in a long time. I'm like, read The Grown Up. It'll get you back into it. The Kids Quotient by Helen Huang. I've read that several times as well. And The Diviners. The first book in the Diviners series by Lippa Bray. Okay, I found it. So the book I was talking about that I got off tangent about, I got onto a tangent about, was The Daughters of Jubilation. I was pretty close. I don't know if you can see this. Let me back up some. Daughters of Jubilation. This is one of the books that I read that hurt my feelings. And if the book can hurt my feelings and make me cry, you're going to get a 5. So yeah, that's my long spiel about that. Number 8, How? Sorry. Is it How? It's going to come up. Number 8. Has your rating of books changed over the years? Most definitely. Sometimes when I look through my read shelf on Goodreads or Storygraph and I see that I rated something highly but cannot remember like any of the details and any of the characters, nothing about the book, and how it made me feel, I usually consider either rereading the book or adjusting my rating because I cannot remember. But I'm not really sure whether or not that'll be fair to the books, because it's like in that moment when I did read it, I felt that kind of way, that it should be a 4 or it should be a 5. Now you take it back. I'm lying if I say 5. It should be a 3 or a 4. That's where it's a little murky. I can't really tell whether or not the book was something that I should have rated it as such. So I do feel like I maybe should reread it or bump it down, but I don't do that. But I do think about it. So yeah, my rating has definitely changed over the years, especially since being like present on BookTube and in the book community, because I've always been I have always been a part of the book community. I just haven't been as active as I am now. Like what you see now is completely different from how I was before, back in 13, 14, 15 and on, until I jumped in. I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and put my little 2 cents in and have me a little corner on the internet. And here I am now. So yeah, it's changed. And number 9 is, where do you record your ratings of your books? And I mentioned it several times. The main places that I record my ratings of my books are on Storygraph and on Goodreads. But I also use a library thing. I also record on an app called Litzy. So Litzy, library thing, Goodreads, Storygraph, and I think that's the only ones. There were some other ones that I used to use, but the company, whoever ran the app, they most likely didn't get enough users or not enough paid users, so that's the reason why they shut down. And I don't even remember the name of it now, but I used to record my books, my read books there as well. But for now, if you want to find me anywhere and get like real-time, up-to-date, this is what I've read, check me out on Goodreads, check me out on Storygraph. I always leave my links in the video description bar. You can go ahead, or video description section, not bar, sorry. And you can go and check it out. I'm there, always updating. And this is not one of the questions, but I'm assuming that because it's a book tag, that I will have to tag someone. So I've tagged a couple of people. I want to tag Courtney at Tangible Reads, Vin at Vin's Book Corner. I also want to tag Kiana at Shekshi Lady, Coda I don't know his entire username, but I know it's like your best booktube best, no, your booktube bestie Coda, tagging you, and then Marissa at Marissa Toman. So that is it on that. It's good to see you all. I hope that my face and my voice and my thoughts are worth your time. But until next time, I want you to do what I always say you do, which is drink your water. I have mine right here on deck. Mind the business that's yours, and continue reading beyond the book's cover. My name is Jaleesa. It's been real, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.